Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Into the Night with me, Sean Kelly. Um, how was everybody's start of the week since Sunday? Holly, hey, Holly, good to see you, man. Welcome, dear, to the show. Good to see you. Uh, I don't know. I had the last day off, so I don't know. I'm doing okay. Seems like the weather gave us a couple good days here and there, and then all of a sudden, of course, it's going to go back up in the 90s. And I checked the weather forecast for the 4th of July here in Pittsburgh. Okay, and as usual, it's going to rain all day long. It never fails. It never fails to rain here in Pittsburgh on the 4th of July. But we're kind of used to it now. But with the 4th of July coming up, okay, um, like I expressed myself on Sunday, just please be careful and don't shoot no fireworks off in your hands. And please be aware of all the that are in the military or the veterans that are out there who have done war in Afghanistan and Vietnam, Korea. You know, it could start off their PTSD and dogs and animals too. Okay, to just be careful and be respectful to the people around you. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi for allowing me to share my 1 hour show with you on Tuesday nights. I also have a Sunday night show on the same platform here, and it's 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. I want to thank everybody who listened to my show on Sunday. Got a good audience in the chat room, and plus we got a good audience worldwide. And I'm grateful for that. Like I said, I'm very grateful for all of you to come in and listen to the show. But I want to thank Carnation for sponsoring this hour. And without Carnation, I would not be here with you. So tonight is the first night, the first Tuesday of Bigfoot month. Okay. So I went to the library today and I printed out like 70 pages of Bigfoot stuff. Okay. And and I'm not going to go through all 70 pages. Tonight at the bottom you see the history of Bigfoot. Are they a true entity or a urban legend? What is everybody's opinion on that? I'd like to know. I would like to know what your opinion is. It seems like all the stuff that I was reading today, there's a big argument between the scientific field about this and also the people who do go out and investigate Bigfoot thing, places, where they heard of getting evidence and stuff like that. So I don't know. By the end of the hour, please tell me what you all think of it. And I would like to hear your points of view and things like that. But I want to start off tonight's show, okay, from a quote. And it is from Jane Goodall. And you know her, she's the ape lady. Okay, she's the one that studies the primates. And she said, well, now you will be amazed when I tell you that I'm sure that they exist. She later added, well, I'm a romantic, so I always wanted them to exist. And of course, the big criticism of all of this is, where is the body? Why isn't there a body? I can't answer that, and maybe they don't exist, but I want them to. Isn't that pretty neat? And she's like really, I totally respect that woman. for all the work that she did with the apes and all the gorillas and everything that she has done, for a very well-known scientist saying that she, wants them to exist. Well, I guess, coming from her, those are big words. Okay, those are really big words coming from her. And to know that somebody in the scientific field, okay, is wanting to say that, because she is well respected in her field and all over the world. But now, paleontologist, hey brother, good to see you, Tony. How you been? Welcome to the show tonight. Paleontologist and author Darren Nashish states in a 2016 article for Scientific American that if Bigfoot existed, an abundance of evidence would also exist that cannot be found anywhere today. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Making the existence of such a creature exceedingly unlikely. So you got, one scientist who's highly respected saying that she hopes they exist. And then you got one that says, well, I don't think they do exist. Joe Fox, hey, Sean, I'll be right back. I have to check in with my mom. All right, brother. Hey, Brian, good to see you, pal. Welcome to the show. Nashi summarizes the evidence for Bigfoot that would exist if the creature itself existed. If Bigfoot existed, so would consistent reports of uniform vocalizations throughout North America can be identified for all existing large animals in a region, rather than the scattered and widely varied Bigfoot sounds haphazardly reported. If Bigfoot existed, so would many tracks that would be easy for experts to find, just as they are easily find tracks for another rare megafauna in North America, rather than a complete lack of such tracks alongside tracks that experts agree are fraudulent. Finally, if Bigfoot existed, and an abundance of Bigfoot DNA would already have been found, again, as it has been found for similar animals, instead of the current state of affairs where there is no confirmed DNA for such a creature whatsoever. Okay? So, wow. And how people can just come out and I kind of understand what Napier has to say there, being in the paranormal, well, it could be or it could not be. We don't have the evidence, but we know what we saw when we did our investigation. And in this Darren Nash, stating that there is no existence of the Bigfoot. So what's your feelings on this thing? Please share in the chat room. I believe it's like if you could just honestly, if you take a quarter out of your pocket and flip, tails for yes and heads for no. You know what I mean? And I personally, doing all the reading and being on the shows and doing a lot of podcasts on this subject, I do believe there are. Okay. A lot of people seem to take things at face value or what they were taught when they were growing up. It just sounds too good to be true. People talk about it like there could be a couple of reasons. One is that, they're afraid that they do exist. Brian says he needs to see that video. I do believe they are. Of course they are. And I think there's down some in South Carolina, Brian, and up in North Carolina. But people just don't want to have the open mind. It's all closed, you know. Maybe people should just like accept, I don't have to come out and tell you that there's ghosts and they exist, you know. I can't judge you when you tell me no. But all I ask is that you actually, have an open mind about situations like this. And it's the same thing in the Bigfoot communities and between the scientists. And hey, Roy White, good to see you, pal. Roy, is there any down there in Greene County? Hey, Michael Anthony, good to see you. Welcome to the show. Um, like, go with an open mind. You don't have to believe it. But the bad thing about that is, right, um, the people who are trying to convince you to believe that there is a Bigfoot, they're in the wrong. They're in the wrong. They should accept what you believe in. You know, they had some researchers, as John Napier, that, that the scientific community's attitude towards Bigfoot stems primarily from insufficient evidence. Hmm. Other scientists who have shown varying degrees of interest in the creature are Grover Krantz, Jeffrey Meldrum, Darius Swindler, etc. You know, um, at least you got scientists going in there and trying to figure things out. But the thing is, here's the whole deal: you got these researchers, you got these scientists. Why can't they work with the people who, investigate Bigfoot sightings? It was like that for the longest time in the paranormal field. You had the people who believed in spirits, and you had a lot of people who were in the scientific part of it. Okay. And we just could not come up with an agreement. We could not come up with a conclusion. We kept fighting with each other between the scientists and us. From what I am seeing today, okay, it's a lot better, right? People are starting to listen. People are starting to accept. Scientists are starting to accept some stuff from the paranormal people, and the paranormal people are accepting things from the scientists, in which it should have been at the very beginning. Because if you got to the both working together, okay, then you'll get your answers that you seek. You know, honestly, you will get your answers. And what I just mentioned about the paranormal is the same way in the Bigfoot community. Let the scientists and the Bigfoot people talk it out. Show them, you know. Sure, they got pictures or cast of big feet in the ground, or they heard some knocking, they heard some wild noises at night, or all the videos that they seen, okay, and all the pictures that were taken of so-called Bigfoot. I'll be honest with you, and I do believe them. But when you show me a picture and you show me a video where the resolutions are not that good, I have to kind of get back on the fence and start leaning to a certain, to another way. I can't just simply come off the fence and say, hey, listen, it's a Bigfoot. Can't do that. No matter how hard I try to think of it, I can't. I need pure, wonderful, perfect evidence of a Bigfoot. It's just like in ghost hunting, same way. Getting a good, clean picture of a spirit. But you know what? It's crazy because even if it's a cryptid, if it's a ghost, if it's Bigfoot, and it's a clear picture, people are going to look at you and they're going to laugh at you, and they're going to tell you it's staged. They don't believe it, and that's just human nature. Okay, that's just human nature. And I know it hurts, and I know you want to grab them by the throat and say, "Hey, look, this is it. Look at it. Look at your eyes. Boom, boom, boom. Check it out. This is for real." And no matter how hard you try to convince them that this is a Bigfoot, okay, they're just gonna like laugh at you and turn around and walk away. But when they do that, it shouldn't, hamper your it shouldn't hamper how you feel about Bigfoot, and it should even give you a little bit more extra uh, giddy up to go out and try to find more evidence. You know, granted, I mean, I've watched the Bigfoot community, Finding Bigfoot, all those Bigfoot TV shows and stuff like that, and saw some on YouTube. And they make a good case. You know, but you need more than just a footprint. You know, you need more than footprint, and you need more than just a low resolution picture or a camera. I'm not knocking the Bigfoot community because I'm gonna have some good people on this month about it. But this is my opinion. Show some real stuff. Show a real live Bigfoot and their babies, because I hear there's Bigfoot babies too. You know how they got here? Who knows? Who knows how they got here? But we shall see as we go on in the show. Now, like I said, I went to the library today and I printed out like close to 70 pages of things on Bigfoot. And this is just a couple that I thought were kind of like important. So, but as the month goes on, I'm going to bring out some more stuff that I have learned through these things I printed out on Bigfoot, along with the guests that I'm going to have. Okay. Now, the formal studies. John Napier again, in his book Bigfoot, that's Napier, published in his book Bigfoot, The Yeti and Sasquatch in Myth and Reality in 1973. Napier wrote that if a conclusion is to be reached based on scant, extant, hard evidence, science must declare Bigfoot does not exist. However, he found it difficult to entirely reject thousands of alleged tracks scattered over 125,000 square miles, or to dismiss all the many hundreds of eyewitness accounts. Napier concluded, here we go, I am convinced that Sasquatch exists, but whether it is all it is cracked up to be another matter altogether. There must be something in the Northwest America that needs explaining, and that something leaves men like footprints. Interesting, huh? And of course, they're going to, he's just like trying to get the evidence out there. You can't, they said, oh, we got some. Roy White says they always have a Bigfoot events all around here. Brian says more than a hair sample that leads to nothing. Yeah, Brian, Roy, I'm going to have to find out when there's a Bigfoot thing. Hey, Michael Anthony, good to see you again. Roy, I'm going to have to talk to my Bigfoot people and just sit there and talk to them. And maybe I really do want to go to one of the events down there and just to check it out. See where they come, like to do an interview with them, or just go down and see what it's all about. And Brian says more than a hair sample that leads to nothing. Yeah, you talk about like you're watching like the trailer of some Bigfoot show coming up, and they say, "Oh my God, we found here, we found this, we found here next to this big print," and all of a sudden they go and they get it tested. And come to find out that it's not Bigfoot. It was just a bear, you know. It was just a bear. Or some other type of animal, you know. But my question to you out there is, okay, if it was truly a Bigfoot hair, would they actually put it on TV and tell the people? Think about it. We all know about aliens and UFOs, so, but they won't put hardly anything out on the radio or TV about it. It's just, I don't think they would. I believe that they know that the Bigfoot exists, and they are just going to, I guess, let people go crazy trying to find him. You know, real quick, I do believe that UFOs and aliens are also part work with the Bigfoot. Okay, I believe the Bigfoot do come from another dimension, and they are here. They are brought here by the aliens and the UFOs. I truly believe that in my heart. So I guess you can put the two together. But my friend also said that um, probably not, that they actually live here, that they were born here, that they were raised here, and whatever. I don't know. I do not know about that. The big film that came out, there's a film, it's called the Patterson Gimlin film. Okay. The well-known video of an alleged Bigfoot, the Patterson-Gimlin film, was recorded on October 20th, 1967 by Roger Patterson and Robert Bob Gimlin in the area called Bluff Creek in Northern California. The 59.5-second long video has become an iconic piece of Bigfoot lore and continues to be a highly scrutinized, analyzed, and debated subject. I know a lot of people have seen that video, and I've watched it. I've watched it like 10, 12 times today. Okay, and not knowing about anything about Bigfoot, if I was just starting off on it, I would look at that and I would say, could be. Really looks for him, excited. Ray, Russell, good to see you, buddy. Russell Easterbrook says the late John Bendingnagel should be on the list with Meldrum and Crimes. I agree, and I really wish I knew about him more, Russell. Um, would you like to come on the show, sir? You know, this sometime this month, and be a guest on my show, and we can talk about it. Um, just a food for thought for you, Russell. Um, and I don't know. I watched the video, and I really can't tell you if it's legit or if it's not legit. Is it a person in a monkey suit, or is it a true Bigfoot? You know, and I know that video has been debated, and I mean I'm sure they picked that video apart to see if it was real. What's your opinions? Brian, Roy, Russell, Mike, Holly, what's your opinion on that film video? I believe that it's just a person in the suit. And that's what I see so far. Until I get further proof on it, then I'm just going to go with what I believe in. You know, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I really do respect people who investigate the paranormal. And it's not all about ghosts. It's about Bigfoot. It's about cryptids. It's about UFOs. It's about aliens. I respect that. Really, really do respect it. And so I'm just telling you my opinion on it. So I'm going to get into a little bit. Um, Bigfoot, also commonly referred to as Sasquatch, is a large and hairy human-like mythical creature alleged by some to inhabit forests in North America, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. Bigfoot is featured in both American and Canadian folklore. Enthusiasts of Bigfoot, such as those within cryptozoology, have offered various forms of dubious evidence to prove Bigfoot's existence, including anecdotal claims of sightings as well as alleged photographs, video, and audio recordings, hair samples, and casts of large footprints. The folklorists trace the phenomenon of Bigfoot to a combination of factors and sources, including the European wildman figure, the skunk ape, the Australian yowie, and the yeti in Asia. Bigfoot is often described as a large, muscular, and bipedal human or ape-like creature covered in dark brown hair or dark reddish hair. Anecdotal descriptions estimate a height of roughly 6'9", with some descriptions having the creature standing as tall as 10 to 15 feet. Some alleged observations describe Bigfoot as more human than ape, particularly in the face. In 1971, multiple people in the Dallas, Oregon filed a police report describing an overgrown ape, and one of the men claimed to have sighted the creature in his scope of the rifle, but could not bring himself to shoot it because it looked more human than animal. Huh. And you're hearing it from all these people out here. You're hearing, it's like, wow. They see a real tall dude, tall entity with a lot of hair on him, and the guy doesn't shoot him because he thinks it's a human being. So you got the scientific people that I just read about, and then all of a sudden you got the description, about standing upright, looking like a bear. You know what I mean? And it's like a lot of people, like the common description, included broad shoulders, no visible neck, and long arms, which many skeptics attribute to misidentification of a bear standing upright. What is your opinion when you see a Bigfoot on the video or on? Do you think it could possibly be a bear? Could it possibly be some other type of animal? The sounds that they make, the vocalization. Who's not to say that they're like the knocking? Now, I'm telling you what, I was down in West Virginia and I was on the porch with my friend. We were having coffee, okay? As God is my witness, nobody around this place, and it's in the woods. Nobody around it. And I heard the knock. And then when I heard that knock, I just got this like chills running up and down my body. And I said to my friend, that is a Bigfoot knocking. Okay. So I've heard the knock. And it just got me really, I got excited over it, And in that instant, I was like, they do exist. They do exist, which is great. So hopefully, with me being retired from the paranormal field, I would like to start going out and investigating some Bigfoot sightings. I'd like to get into that a little bit. But who knows? Hopefully, it will happen. Michael Rugg, the owner of the Bigfoot Discovery Museum, claims to have smelled Bigfoot. Yeah, I heard that too from a lot of people, that they stink. They really stink. And I had my friend Squatchman on about a month ago, and he's saying he believes that the smell comes from the female, especially when they have babies around. Okay. Um, and I can see that. It's like a warning thing with, letting off this smell from, just to protect their babies, you know. Have smelled Bigfoot, stating, imagine a skunk that has rolled around in dead animals and had hung around the garbage bins. What would you do if you even saw or smelled a Bigfoot? What would you do? Probably, I don't know what I'd do. You know, jot it down in a book. Talk. Make a memory. An audio of it on my phone. I don't know, because if you don't have anybody there with you, right, and it's just by yourself, like I said earlier in the show, okay, that you're actually going to get ridiculed. So you have to hold on to this until you can find somebody to tell who understands what you're talking about. If I smelled something like that, I'd be heading back the other way. You know, I would. I mean, I don't want to deal with this thing. If it is a Bigfoot, great. But if I couldn't handle the smell, I'd be gone. That's the way I look at it. Many of the indigenous cultures across the North American continent include tales of mysterious hair-covered creatures living in forests. And according to anthropologist David Dagling, these legends existed long before contemporary reports of the creature described as Bigfoot. The Tule River Indian Reservation, petroglyphs created by a tribe of Yokuts at a site called the Painted Rock are alleged to depict a group of Bigfoots called the family. So, back to, these Native Americans. And I'm sure if you actually talk to the shaman or the old timers in the group, I'm sure they can come out and tell you, hey, yeah, they do exist. But it was really, really interesting because they showed a picture of it, of the petroglyph that was drawn on the rock. Okay, and if I really knew how, I wish I could bring pictures up here. I really don't know how to do it yet, but if you look at this picture, it's like really totally cool. And I really don't know what the year was on that, but it's just an amazing picture. And so, you look at the petroglyphs, and that's just like the UFOs, um, with the drawings of the UFOs that are on the rocks. Now you got drawings of Bigfoot. So if they're seeing them way back then during their times, then I guess, hey, Joe Fox, good to see you, pal. Um, if they drew them back on them rocks a long time ago, hell, so they must exist. You know, people drew them. So why do people today in the 21st century have a hard time believing in it? Can anybody answer that question for me? Why can't they? Why is it just that they're just too stubborn not to believe in it? I don't know. Mexican settlers told tales of, I'm not going to pronounce it, the lost vigilantes occurs or dark watchers, large creatures alleged to stalk their camps at night in the region that is now Mississippi. A Jesuit priest was living with the Natchez in 1721 and reported stories of hairy creatures in the forest, known to scream loudly and steal livestock. Brian says, need to see to believe. Yes, sir. And I know you're stubborn. I know you are. But hopefully, need to believe. Hopefully this month with all the Bigfoot shows that I'm going to be having, that, by the end of the month that there be a little bit more evidence, or you can get some ideas from the guys that I'm girls that I'm going to have on that do the studying on this stuff. You know, it's just like me bringing on paranormal investigators like I did last month, bringing paranormal investigators and such. I'm bringing the Bigfoot people into this month, and hopefully by the end of the month that we're going to have something good to hear. So maybe someone can come up with some new information, or maybe anybody that is actually that's listening to the show tonight. You know, if you have had a Bigfoot experience, please send me a message to the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page. Please do, and tell me about it. So hopefully somebody out there who has listened to my shows, that listens this month, that actually has seen, or has a little bit of evidence that a Bigfoot existed, or they saw one. Brian says, "No, not me, stubborn. I was answering your question." Okay, brother. But look at this. I just read it. Hey, Liz, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. But in the 16th century, they're talking about the same thing about a tall, hairy man that stalks their camps at night down in Mississippi. Okay, and Mississippi is like really really close to Louisiana. Joe Fox says, "I live so very close to the Pocono Mountains and hundreds of Bigfoot sightings." Seriously, Joe? I believe it because from what I was reading about Pennsylvania, there's a lot of sightings of Bigfoot out here. Now, it's the Poconos. What mountain range is that, buddy? Is that the Appalachians, or it is the Appalachians? Or is it the one that's out here in Westmoreland County? I forget which one it is. The Iroquois tell of an aggressive, hair-covered giant with rock-hard skin known as the Stone Giant, more commonly referred as the Jinisuka. Okay, I don't know why I underlined that. In 1947, Paul Kane reported stories by the natives around about the Skookunes, a race of cannibalistic wild men living on the peak of Mount St. Helens. U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, in his 1893 book, The Wilderness Hunter, writes of a story was told by an elderly mountain man named Rawman, in which the foul-smelling bipedal creature ransacked his beaver trap at camp, stalked him, and later became hostile when it fatally broke his companion's neck. Roosevelt notes that Barman appeared fearful while telling the story, but attributed the trapper's German ancestry to a potential influence to him. The Adequee of the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska tell of Natendog, a Bigfoot-like creature. This folklore was featured on the Discovery television series, The Alaskan Killer Bigfoot, which claims that the Nanatog was responsible for the population decrease of Port Rock in the 1940s. And you know what? I saw that one. I did see it. And that was a very, very interesting show. Um, I forget who they had come up, but um, I really enjoyed watching it. And I learned a lot of good history about the situation. But then again, they set all these traps and stuff like that for these things, and do the film and shoot the show. But you know, it did keep me on the edge of my seat when I was watching that. Okay, just listening to the stories, listening to what these guys were doing, what kind of equipment they had going out in that Kenai Peninsula, looking for that Bigfoot. It was interesting, but nothing happened. They never came up with a conclusion. They never found the beast. So were them people chasing a story? Were they chasing a tale that was told to them from their elders on down? Why are the so-called Bigfoot showing themselves to people back in the 17th century, 18th century? Why are they showing themselves to them? But now they don't. Why don't they show themselves? Joe Fox says, although referred to usually as a mountain range, the area is actually a dissected plateau, a subsection of the larger Allegheny Plateau, forming a 2,400 square mile encarpment. The topological mountains are also a sub-range of the Appalachian Mountains. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for sharing that. Joe, I'm going to have to come out this year. You're an hour away. Well, Joe, I'm going to have to take a little vacation, come out there, and we'll do some gold prospecting up there, and then we'll go look for Bigfoot. How's that sound? That sounds great. The origins of Bigfoot, the name. In 1958, Jerry Crew, bulldozer operator for a logging company in Humboldt County, California, discovered a set of large 16 inches human-like footprints sunk deep within the mud in the Six Rivers National Forest. The logging company men soon began utilizing Bigfoot to describe the apparent culprit. The term Bigfoot became widespread as a reference to an apparently large unknown creature leaving massive footprints in Northern California. As a result, Willow Creek in Humboldt County are considered by some to be the Bigfoot capital of the world. Now, this is what I kind of like say for the last, and I would like to get all the people out there who do investigate Bigfoot, and I'm going to ask my guests the same question and what they think. But in 2002, the family of Jerry Crew's deceased co-worker, Ray Wallace, revealed a collection of large carved wooden feet stored in his basement. They stated that Wallace had been secretly making the footprints and was responsible for the tracks discovered by Crew. Wallace was inspired by another hoaxer, Rand Mullins, who revealed information about his hoaxes in 1982. In the 1930s in Toledo, Washington, Mullins and a group of other foresters carved pairs of large feet made of wood and used them to create footprints in the mud to scare huckleberry pickers in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. Wallace, also from Toledo, knew Mullins and stated he collaborated with him to obtain a pair of the large wooden feet and subsequently used them to create footprints on the 1958 construction site as a means to scare away potential thieves. So, Cindy Simpson, I can't imagine being a logger out in the woods with a Bigfoot. Nah, me neither, Cindy. Me neither, sweetie. Me neither. But is it it could be a hoax. And I would like to get, a lot of people's opinions on that. And I'm going to hold on to that question there, or that little paragraph that I just saw and read. And I'm going to ask the big people about it, the guests on my show. And listen, everybody out there, if you have any other opinions, you know how to get a hold of me. My show's on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights. And I would like to hear from you and see what you think. But if that is true, and if that is, true, then that ain't right. It's not right. It's just like people falsifying, paranormal evidence of a ghost being there. And I don't even want to get into that. I think that's downright rude. Downright rude. So there's some misidentifications here. You too, brother. Brian, have a good night. Good seeing you. And give your mom a hug for me, will you? Appreciate it. Now, there's some misidentifications. Bears. Scientists theorize the mistaken identification of American black bears as Bigfoot are likely explained for most reported sightings. You know, black bears stand roughly 5 to 7 feet, and grizzly bears roughly 8 to 9 feet. You know, if you look at a picture of a standing black bear, it really sure as hell looks like a Bigfoot. Escaped apes. Some have proposed that sightings of Bigfoot may simply be people observing and misidentifying known great apes such as chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans that have escaped from captivity, such as zoos, circuses, and exotic pets belonging to private owners. Humans have been mistaken for Bigfoot, with some incidents leading to injuries. In 2013, a 20-year-old man in Oklahoma was arrested after he told law enforcement he accidentally shot his friend in the back while their group was allegedly hunting for Bigfoot. In 2017, a shamanist wearing clothing made of animal furs was vacationing in North Carolina forest when local reports of alleged Bigfoot sightings flooded in. This dude got killed. Craziness, man. It's just crazy. But those are true. What was written there, I cannot deny what they wrote. You know, I can't. But it's getting close to that time. Was when I saw Bigfoot on TV, Sean. I think it's true that there is a Bigfoot, as I saw that in people's backyards in America. I'm not too sure. I think a lot of people have saw that Bigfoot. Okay, I understand. That's possible, Liz. Maybe we can share that video out and see what people have to say about it. So the scientific view, real quick here. The expert consensus is that the allegation of the existence of Bigfoot are not credible. And that's the scientific view. John Crane said, there is no such thing as Bigfoot. No data other than material that's clearly been fabricated has ever been presented. So that's the scientific. Thank you very much, Liz. I appreciate you sharing that. But ladies and gentlemen, before we close, I have here the top 15 people, top 15 states that have had Bigfoot. And you'll be surprised. The first one's Washington, 708. California, 461. Florida, 338. Ohio, 318. Illinois, 302. Oregon, 257. Texas, 253. Michigan, 225. Missouri, 166. Georgia, 140. Colorado, 130. Drum roll, please. Number 12, Pennsylvania, 126. New York, 120. Kentucky, 115. And Oklahoma, 111. That's pretty close. That's pretty cool that Pennsylvania got mentioned. That's cool. But I know time's ending here. I'm going to read what Joe had to say. Close on Colorado's hills in Pennsylvania with 127 Bigfoot sightings deemed credible by BFRO. Of those, Allegheny and Cambria counties have the most, with 9 reports each. The most recent credible report in Pennsylvania was December of 2022 in Potter County. Thank you for that, Drew. I appreciate it. Well, that's at the end of the show. I'm glad everybody, participated in the chat room with this. It's going to be a great month. Next Tuesday, my guest, Oh, God. Don't tell me I will be Bill Rigby, who is in with the UFO, Bigfoot community. And I do believe it's going to be an awesome show. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please. Thank you, Joe Fox. I appreciate it. Thank you, Liz. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents or children, please find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those three words go a long, long, long way. And on that note, I need to say good night, Gracie, and I will definitely see you all this Sunday coming up. Have a safe 4th of July. Good night.